Well, hey guys, this is Spiffy Guy, and I am here with the U.S. military issue Alice pack. I'm going to turn this into a nice little bushcraft pack. This is one of the most common packs I think a lot of people would use for a bushcraft kit. It's pretty robust, and it was designed to be kind of bomb-proof. So the biggest problem is the frame itself on here really sucks. So that's what we're going to do on this episode of Gear. We're going to make a brand new frame for this Alice pack out of PVC. Stick around. Alright, as I mentioned, this is the Alice pack. This is a medium-sized Alice pack. And one of the things I do really love about the Alice pack system is they do have the quick release straps on there. And you know, for the most part, you can pick these up pretty cheap. You probably find them on eBay and things like that for about 20 bucks. Sometimes they'll have frames. They're a great little pack if you want to do some messing around and modification, but really kind of hard to mess up here. But the frame itself is really a downfall on this, and part of the reason is we use the Alice pack in a way that it probably wasn't really designed to be used. We end up, you know, stuffing it full of all our gear and going out in the woods and complaining that the hip pad here doesn't reach our hips. Well, the Alice pack system was part of a larger system that had the H harness with the little pistol belt that you would carry pistol and ammunition and canteens and stuff. So the pack itself rode a little bit higher, and this would actually ride sort of in the lumbar region rather than going down all the way onto your hips. And that's a problem that we have. So what I'm going to use is I'm going to be using PVC, and we're essentially going to duplicate this same frame, just make it a little bit longer, and we'll add a little bit more contour to it. It does push in here a little bit in the middle, but for the most part the frame is pretty straight. So let me take this off and I will show you what the frame looks like, and then we'll get our tools together and we'll start building this. Alright, so this is the frame in and of itself. You can see that there's really not a whole lot of contour to the frame itself. It does bend up here a little bit at the top to kind of pull it away from your the back of your neck. And on the pack itself, it essentially just has a little pocket that this frame will slide into. So we just need to make sure that whenever we're making our frame, that this top part right here is about the same width as the original frame, and that way we you know, we don't have issues getting it on the pack itself. But one of the benefits of building your own frame is that if you're a little bit wider or if you're taller, this frame may not meet your needs. Some people may want to flare it out a little bit and get a little bit wider back support on there. Now, I will throw out that this is the hip pad, and these are the shoulder straps. These will, you can connect these to the backpack itself without the frame if you wanted to go frameless on it. You can also replace these with the newer MOLLE system, which is something I may or may not do. The Alice system is modular, like the MOLLE system. It has these little clips, and they can, you know, attach points on the side here and on the bottoms, good lashing points. The larger Alice pack has a little bit more of this this Alice connection stuff, and it has a few more pockets on the outside, but it's a little bit larger of a pack. So let's get the materials we're going to need and start getting this frame together. Alright, this project is pretty simple, and you can do it cheap. I'm using a 1/2 inch Schedule 40 PVC. Okay, and that should be, for the most part, rigid enough for this frame. There is some concerns about PVC getting brittle in extreme colds. That's just something we're going to have to test out. You know, your mileage may vary. Use your own judgment. Alright, so essentially what we're doing is recreating this. So, as I mentioned, we're using 1/2 inch Schedule 40 PVC, so we're going to need 6 right angles. Okay, and the reason we need 6 is we're going to do 2 up here. We're going to do 2 at the bottom, and actually 4 at the bottom, because we're going to be making a shelf. Some of the other frames that the Alice pack came with had a small little, basically shelf that came out that you could put radios and things on like that. I'm actually going to build out a shelf And the idea is that the pack would be up here, and then there would be a space between the pack and the shelf that I could have my sleeping bag rolled up in a dry bag and lashed on right there. That shelf will also come in handy if you ever need to move anything like a gas can or you know, a large water jug, firewood, that sort of thing. And I just think it's going to add a lot of versatility to the frame itself. You could also use the shelf for a you know, for the trash can or basket pack, as a lot of people like. So, you know, there's going to be a lot of versatility here. So we're going to need the right angles to come out for the shelf, and then the right angles once again at the other part of the shelf. We're also going to need 4 of these T's. Okay, we'll do cross pieces. There'll be a cross piece down here and then one in the middle. And we're going to use the heat gun to bend those a little bit, bend the PVC to give it a little bit more of an ergonomic fit to us. We're also going to need a tape measure. You're going to need to measure off some of the things on the frame themselves and do your PVC as well. You're going to need to cut your PVC. I'm using this little pipe cutter right here. This will work fine. Home Depot sells the little ratcheting PVC cutters as well. They're fairly cheap, but I'm using stuff that I had. And if you want to glue it together, you can. You're going to want to get, you know, PVC glue. You can get the purple stuff that you put down if you feel like it. Keep in mind that stuff stains, so just don't do it on your kitchen table. Your wife may get a little bit mad at you. So, but other than that, I bought the 4 T's and the 6 right angles and a 10-foot stick of the 1/2-inch PVC, and it was literally less than $5. These are like 22 cents a piece. You can get contractor packs and make it a little bit cheaper if you want. All right, guys. So the original frame is about 20 inches, and I wanted to add about 4 to 5 inches onto that. So I've gone ahead and cut some pieces here. Let me show you what I've cut. I've cut 3 pieces at 10 inches. These are going to be the cross pieces, the ribs. Now you can see that they're bent. Now I'm going to roll some footage here. I used my heat gun to heat this up, and I kind of bent it around a paint can. And once I got one the way I liked it, I went ahead and did all the other ones and matched it up to that first one. So I have, for the most part, I have the same angle. Now you can go ahead and use a heat gun if you have one. I don't think a hairdryer is going to cut it unless you got some sort of crazy industrial strength one. You can put the PVC pieces into the oven at about 200 degrees. Keep in mind that PVC, when it heats up, can release some vapors, so you may want to be careful with that. So once I got that bent, I also needed to make this piece right here. This is going to be the curved part down to our first cross piece. And this is a piece 10 inches as well. So I've got a total of 5 pieces at 10 inches now. And I went ahead and bent that to basically kind of mimic the same curve that we had there. And then I went ahead and did the other side. Now keep in mind that the bend, you need to have your pieces facing in so they'll match up. Otherwise it'll be all funky. So I've gone ahead, and then the next section I cut 2 pieces at about 9 inches, and that goes from the middle cross piece to the bottom cross piece. Okay, and then to come down to the right angle that goes out to the shelf, I cut just a 1.5-inch little spacer piece just to kind of slide in there. So a total of 5 pieces at 10 inches, 2 at about 9, and then 2 at the 1.5 here. And then once I put this together and make sure that it kind of fits all right, I'll go ahead and mess with the shelf and get the shelf the way I like it. So I just kind of rough fit these together, and it's about 25 to 25.5 inches. That might be a little long, but I haven't glued anything together yet, so I can pull it apart and just shave off an inch here and there if I need to. So I'm going to go ahead and rough fit this together and see how it fits. All right, so here's just kind of a rough idea. It seems pretty high up here, so I'm going to take about an inch, maybe an 1.5 inches out of this piece right here. But for the most part, it's not too bad. I can feel this section right in here, you know, when I push on it. So I don't know, I might need to do a little bending on that. But once the frame is together and I glue it, I can always come through with the heat gun and mold it a little bit better to my body. You could always pad this area. You could shove in what do you call it, a sleeping pad, or just a sit mat in there as padding. So I'm going to take about an inch off, but I definitely like the fact that it's down on the hips now. All right, so here's the frame all kind of put together. The shelf down here at the bottom, I did 7 inches out and a 10-inch cross section here. And make sure to orient that properly with your bows going out there. And all that's left to do now is basically glue it together. Some people don't glue it. I'm going to go ahead and glue it because I think that it's going to hold up a little bit better. And comparison to the original frame here, this is 20 inches high. This came in at about 24. I think that the gluing will help with the creaking a little bit. This is the section I have left. It's about 2 feet, so it's enough to whack somebody in the head with out of that 10-foot section. So $5. I'm going to glue it together, I'm going to sand it down, and then I'll spray paint it to give it a nice kind of subdued color. Alright, so I sanded down the frame and I sprayed it with the dark green Krylon Fusion here. You can see that I put some stuff in the Alice pack. It's not completely full, but I got a poncho liner, I got my fleece bag liner in there, I got a bunch of stuff, my bush pot, water bottle, all kinds of stuff. I mean, this pack will take a bit. And I have a space right here for like a dry bag or a bedroll or something else that I want to put in there. For the most part, it fits really good. I'm pretty happy with it. It definitely moves all the weight down to the hips. Now, one of the things that I found that was kind of neat when packing this is that shelf on there makes the pack stand up on its own. So all you got to do is just pop it open and start filling it. You don't have to worry about it falling over on you all the time. I stuffed a sit pad in there just to someplace to put it, and I think it'll work out fairly well. I'll have to mess with the loadout and screw around with that. But the color came out fairly decent. I don't know if you can see that there, and I don't expect that it will hold up very well, at least especially on the shelf area and stuff where it's going to come in contact with the ground. The Krylon Fusion isn't the best at bonding to plastic, despite it being specifically for plastic. But the pack itself, I think, it will work out well. And there's nothing to say that you have to put an Alice pack on this. You could always use this pack frame for something else, make your own custom basket, pack, or if you had another type of backpack with removable straps, you could stick that on there as well. All right, so a couple of additional things here. A lot of people have talked about using this frame to store water in, put like a screw plug in on one of the fittings. And honestly, I don't think that would be a great idea. I think it'd be more of a pain in the butt to fill up, and for the ounce that a platypus, water bladder would take, I don't really think it's beneficial. Now, one thing you could do, since this is 1/2 inch, there's not a whole lot of room inside the actual tube itself, but one thing you could do is you could make some modifications and do the side pieces in like 1 inch or something, and then you could store something like a fishing rod, a thin fishing rod, or even like a Sven saw, something like that. I mean, if you really wanted to, I don't really see a need to do it. Another thing to point out is the hip pad strap down here that went across there was a little short, and so I just replaced it with some paracord. I just went around the loops on the little hip pad about 4 or 5 times, and then just tightened it up. And it gives me extra cordage when I'm out in the field, and it serves that purpose there. So it's not really that hard of a project, and we're going to mess around with it and see how it holds up. So if you have any questions or comments, go ahead and leave them below, or you can put them up on the Facebook page as well. And be sure to subscribe. I'm going to take this out in the field as the weather improves here, and see how it holds up. So just remember that life is an adventure, and get out and have one, and do it with your brand new Alice pack frame. Until next time, thanks for watching.